And welcome back to another episode of The Credit Authority. Once again, I am your host, Rhonda Kulch, and I am so glad that you tuned in today. We always want to start our segments by thanking our sponsor. So thank you so much to Equity First. If you are experiencing credit and or financial challenges, feel free to reach out to any one of their trained professionals. They are bilingual, nationwide, and they are looking forward to taking your call. They can be reached at 631-714-4822. And for our final segment today, we kept attorney Alan Krystal in studio. So Alan, thank you so much for staying and joining us today.
You made me.
I made you do it. You know, we've been speaking all about mediation and we've been speaking all about the law, but the law of the land today is Alan was not allowed to leave the studio because I was not done with him. So thank you so much for staying. You know, you and I have known each other for a long time, and we have such mutual respect, not just for each other, but for each other's centers of influence. So you are an attorney that specializes in business, really a business attorney. If somebody's listening right now and they're thinking about forming a business or dissolving a business, speak to me a little bit about the type of law that you practice and where you would be the right fit.
Well, again, I mean, I handle all aspects of business law from inception to conclusion. And again, I think it's very important that, you know, to Janine's point, that there be a good roadmap in terms of starting a business and defining roles, and to try to deal with as many contingencies as possible. That's why I think an agreement and a contract is so important. The way I come at it is I come at it from a variety of experiences in my life. I mean, not only from being an attorney a long time, but I've also been in business as a house counsel and part of a management team. So I understand what businesses go through from more than the legal aspect. I understand what happens within a business, some of the conflicts and some of the challenges that might not have any relationship to the law. I also have served as an arbitrator, small claims court and bigger forums where I've had to decide these disputes. So it's the issues that I face when seeing clients or potentially face when addressing issues is something that I've done my entire career, and I try to draw upon those experiences, both good and bad, in providing counsel to my clients.
So Long Island is a crazy spectrum of business owners. We have the little moms and pops, and then we have, you know, gigantic global corporations that are right here in our backyard. If somebody's looking to retain an attorney, whether it's a startup or they're looking for in-house counsel, give me an idea of what I would call the sweet spot, right? Somebody will say to me sometimes, what's your sweet spot? If we can paint a picture of who your ideal client is it somebody that hires you for structuring? Is it somebody that you are on retainer and you're working with them on a consistent basis? Give us an idea of what that looks like for you.
Well, again, I mean, the sweet spot is probably a client who's just getting into the business and who's pretty much starting from scratch, because, you know, it allows me to get that client off to a right start and have the right structure in place, as opposed to getting involved when they either have a problem with their partners or they have a problem in litigation or they have a problem with an outside agency. So I like being able to work and grow organically with that client. I mean, my clients vary. I mean, I have mom and pop businesses. I work with national companies that have over 100 employees. I'm not so much concerned about size. I mean, I'm really like the idea of helping people. And I really don't have any particular requirements or sweet spot. I work with all types of people. It's really more, I want to see people improve themselves, and I want to see people improve their businesses and be successful and stay out of trouble.
which I can't deny that. When building out a law practice, we know that you are a solopreneur, but you have, again, it goes back to the conversation we had earlier about building out your power team. Somebody comes to you to form a business. Who's the power team that you work with so that you can set your client on the pathway to success?
Well, obviously, it depends on the nature of the business, but speaking generically, I will always want to make sure that they have a good CPA. And if they don't, or they're not happy with that CPA, I refer them. If they're starting out with employees and they're payrolling their people, I want to make sure they're set up with a good payroll practice. If they're looking for a bank, I know people who are good bankers and are going to help them if they need loans or financing for their businesses. And again, those power partners are very essential because not only do they help your clients, but really by doing their jobs and doing their jobs really well, they're a reflection on me and they make me look good.
A lot of times people ask me, how big is my staff? And as much as I have a nice size staff, I have an even richer sphere of influence with the business community. And it sounds like a lot of the people that I speak to these days are more reliant on the people that they work with than the people that work for them. I don't know if you're seeing that or if it's a new trend, but I feel like the more I'm speaking to either other business owners or I'm speaking to my clients that are in business practice, they're relying more and more of the professionalism of the people that are helping to grow their business. And it's not always about the people that they have. Right now, I think people are looking for more or different, right? So that they can continue to grow. Now we know business doesn't just happen overnight. Tell me a little bit about how do people find you? Where are you marketing yourself? Because I think attorneys, if I'm not mistaken, are limited on certain things that they can and cannot do.
I mean, truthfully, I've gotten to the point now where my marketing is pretty much based upon reputation and word of mouth. I mean, I've done social media. I've done programs such as this, although nobody does it as well as you, Rhonda.
Oh, thank you.
But I've done that mostly right at this point. Really, a lot of the business I get is through other attorneys, other professionals, through former clients, which is a great feeling that that somebody would refer you to someone else. So that's really where I've been getting my client base from.
Have you seen that with the market, the way that it has been over let's just say the last 6 years, that you've had an increase or a decrease in how your business is producing?
Honestly, in the last year, there's been a sharp increase. I've really never thought about why, but it really has happened. I mean, it was gradual once we were coming out of the initial stages of the pandemic, but it's really become more apparent, I would say, in the last year or so.
Do you feel that those are clients that are looking to open up new businesses, or are they people reaching out to you for assistance?
Both. I mean, both new people are, people are now, more and more getting interested in starting business. Surprisingly, a lot of young people, and really one of my greatest pleasures is helping a young person who goes into business for themselves get started. A lot of satisfaction involved in doing that. But also people who want to, who know that there are issues and problems and they're not dotting the I's and crossing the T's, and they just want to take the right, they want to just put themselves on the right path. They'll hear about a story where something happened to another business because of something that wasn't done properly. So I get a lot of that also. And it's good to help people before a problem happens.
And we call that forecasting. So you heard it here. If you are a young entrepreneur and you are thinking about getting into business and you are excited about the opportunity, but you are afraid of all of the things that can be a pitfall, you want to build out a team of industry professionals. You want to make sure that you are protected and that you are working with a team that has your back. I highly encourage that you use my friend Alan Krystal. I will say he is my attorney, so I'm not just bringing him here I hate to say I'm not just bringing him here because I want to highlight his business, but for personal reasons as well. I highly encourage that if you are having any problems that you touch base. Alan, how do they reach you?
obviously, I do have social media platforms, but the most direct way is through my phone, 631-780-6555.
You heard it here. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Until next week, have a great one.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.